Hi friends, today we study what are errors in measurements and their subdivisions. Okay. Any deviation in a measurement from the true value or standard value, that is called an error. Error can be also defined as the extent of uncertainty in the measurement. See, all measurements are invariably involving a definite amount of error. There is no 100% error-free measurement possible. Except counting, no other measurements. If counting is considered to be a kind of measurement, that alone can be 100% error-free. All other measurements involving a device or a machinery definitely involve error. The only question is how far that error grows. How much is that error? And how much we can minimize that error. That's the only question arising. And how much an error is involved in a measurement depends upon various factors like the instrument that is used for measuring, the conditions, prevailing conditions, and the person who measures, and the formula equation, etc., how much they are perfect, etc., etc. Okay. So now we will see the important types of errors in measurement. Errors are mainly classified into three types: systematic error, or determinate error, or bias, BIAS. Second category, random error or indeterminate error or chance error. And thirdly, we have gross error. The most common names of these three are systematic, random, and gross. Please remember the word sugar, SGR. Systematic, gross, and random. We will understand the difference among them now. Among these, systematic error is further divided into three other classes. They are internal error, personal error, and environmental error. Remember them together by the word PIE. P-I-E. Personal, instrumental, and environmental. These are the three classes of systematic error. The first type was systematic. Its three subdivisions are these three. In the other two, we don't have subdivision. So altogether, we hear six names: systematic, gross, random. And for systematic, another three subdivision: instrumental, personal, and environmental. Sugar and pie. These are the two words you must remember. PIE, pie for personal, environmental, and instrumental. Okay. See, during a measurement, which are the sources of error? One is the very instrument. It may bring various error due to construction defects, like we had seen in the vernier calipers usage and screw gauge usage. Zero error. It is an error. By the name itself, it is an error. Then least count error. One is offering higher least count. It is not an error. It is a limitation. Yes, sometimes it is called error, least count error. Then so many type of such errors can arise due to the wrong type of instrument, wrong design of the instrument, or due to weathering out of the instrument after long use, changes in resistance, etc., etc. So instrumental error is there. Then personal error. What is meant by personal error? The personal error here doesn't mean carelessness. Systematic personal error is different. What is that? See, suppose a person is having a permanent disability to distinguish between two colors, like red and blue or something like that. then he will not be able to, for example, in a titration, he may not be able to judge the exact end point in a titration. Okay. Then color photometric measurements he may fail to do perfectly. Such a, again, if a person is having a poor sight in one of the eye, in taking the reading, he may cause, he may be become a source of parallactic error, and so on. So, such a, inevitable personal errors are also a part of systematic error. Then environmental error. See, if in a colder country, a heat producing experiment, the heat can flow from the system to the surrounding. In a cold place, I mean, in a cold place, heat may flow from the system to the surrounding. In a hot place, the reverse might happen. So, environment also can, pressure changes, etc., and humidity, all such things can affect the systematic error. And what is meant by this? These three are three categories of systematic error. We can just understand them by logic. See, when we make a measurement, three important things that work together are the instrument, the person who measures, and the surrounding. And these three are the three sources of systematic error. It's quite easy to understand and remember, isn't it? Now we will see why they are called systematic error. See, these kind of errors are called systematic because first reason, they always form as per a definite pattern. There will be a definite system or pattern for systematic error to occur. Why it is said so? Because sometimes they are always positive error only. Sometimes they are only negative error only. They don't occur together. For example, if you use a screw gauge, it may produce negative error only, or it may produce positive error only. Same is the case with the vernier calipers. And the value of zero error will be a constant. So third property is they maintain a constant value or is reproducible. The error is repeated in the next experiment also to the same extent. That's the reason they are called systematic error. Okay, so they are precision type of error. All these points you have to remember, they are precision type because the same precision is maintained. Okay, precision type of error. And how can we minimize this error? One way, regarding the instrument, we can have a better instrument with the proper calibration, etc. Okay, proper least count, etc. Okay, with no zero error, etc. So you can use a better instrument to reduce systematic error. Then controlling the variations in the surrounding. If you carry out the instrument in a AC room or in a thermostat, the temperature, etc., can be kept constant, so variations in the surrounding can be minimized. Then uh, if the person has a defect, you can do one thing. You can take more care, that's one point, or you can take the measurement by 2 or 3 different persons so that error can be compensated. You take the average or you take the more repeated value after after taking observation by different observers. You take the most repeated value like that. So even personal error you can minimize. Okay, this is regarding systematic errors. Hope you understood that. Now we go to random errors. See, random errors, the first thing, they do not follow a pattern always. The very word suggests that they are random. They can be positive at some time, they can be negative at another time. They are not reproducible. The same error is not reproduced because they are random. So no precision here. Source of error not easy to detect. Yeah, one thing I forgot regarding systematic error. In the case of systematic error, it is easy to locate the source of error. Please remember that. In the case of systematic error, source of error can be easily detected, whereas in the case of random error, it may be difficult to locate the error. If you are carrying out titrations in chemistry, adjacent titer values may slightly differ. You may not be able to find the exact reason for that in some cases, in the case of random error. Okay. And how can you minimize random error? Systematic error, how can you minimize? I told you, using a better instrument, taking reading by different people, and a stable environmental condition. These are the ways to minimize systematic error. How to minimize random error? You take large number of measurements and take the average. That is the way to minimize random error. As per Gaussian principle, that's the way. You take large number of measurements, and if you take average, it will be more and more error free. So this much points we have to remember regarding random error, not too much. Now the third kind of error, gross error, and it is known by the other name blunder. So that itself suggests what kind of the error it is. It is not due to the instrument or not due to the surrounding, but due to the person who carries out, who is a careless person, who is a carelessly observing, noting the readings wrongly, titrating and being careless about doing the titration, taking wrong measurements, using wrong device. These are the ways in which gross errors incur into a measurement. It can be very much reduced by having more serious, careful, and focused approach to the measurement. Okay, so not too much about gross error or blunder. Okay. Now, see, we have studied three type of error: systematic, random, and gross. In all these, personal error can come. The first systematic error, personal error is there. And random error also can be personal. One of the cause can be personal. And in gross error, it is almost fully personal. So, please remember that. And lastly, I have a pictorial representation about these three errors. Look at the systematic error. The blue vertical line suggests the true or the actual measurement value. And black values on one side suggest the negative error, and pink values on the right suggest the positive errors. Look at systematic errors. They always happen to the same extent, and here I have written systematic error black dot or pink dot, not together. It is or between the two dots, either black hole or all the dots are pink. Okay, that is systematic error to the same extent. Random error cause is not well justified. It is always mostly near the true value, but sometimes it may go beyond also. So it is, and here it is black and pink, not a black or pink. Both can happen turn by turn. Okay, and come to the gross error. It is a total pandemonium there. It can go to any extent. Either here also black and pink. Hope you understood that. Only this much we want to know about the three categories of errors. Okay.